Tell me a little bit about immigration reform and why is that such a hot button issue today?
Well, immigration reform is a hot button issue these days for, I would think, three principal reasons. One, the economy isn't doing too well and people are scared for their jobs and think that maybe foreigners or immigrants may be encroaching on American jobs. Two, I believe that as a society we're becoming more intermingled and people do know others who are undocumented and are concerned about their well-being and their future in the United States. And three, there's a big conception that the Republicans will lose Hispanic votes if they don't make some kind of a decision about immigration reform. So immigration is a hot topic on all sides of the aisle.
And how has immigration changed over the years, in your opinion?
Well, a big issue is that immigration hasn't really changed in the last 10 or 12 years. We've been waiting for an amnesty or some kind of program to benefit the undocumented individuals here, but there really hasn't been a lot of change. Fortunately, the Obama administration has in 2012 started a program which allows youthful entries, children who entered to no fault of their own. They came in as minors to obtain work permits and Social Security cards. Certain cases have been placed on hold. For example, if a case involves family reunification, the prosecutors are willing to exercise discretion. But in the form of positive, affirmative applications that people can qualify for, there hasn't been a lot of changes.
So you just mentioned that Obama has put something, is that the DACA that you're talking about?
Yes.
So he is making some initiatives to keep people in the country, but yet he's called the deporter-in-chief. Like, why is that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obama has been called the deporter-in-chief because under his administration, there have been more deportations than under any other administration. However, you know, it's a controversial figure because these deportations are as a result of laws that were in place before he became president of the United States. So while there have been some positive changes through the Obama administration, there have been a lot of negative and hurtful deportations.
So what advice would you give to someone who is here illegally if they wanted to become legal?
Okay. I advise that they speak with an attorney that practices immigration law and understand that the options are very limited. If someone is selling them a story of immediate permanent residency, it's probably not true. To make sure that they are paying their taxes, that they're able to document their physical presence in the United States, because if anything does change, it's good to know, to have those positive factors in your side. But definitely speak to an attorney who practices immigration law and beware of schemes and people who want to make a quick buck off of you for the coveted green card.
Because you hear about that all the time, right? You hear about people spending all their hard-earned money
Yes.
to get an attorney, to get them citizenship. And so what are some, you've mentioned some of the red flags, but are there any other things you could advise people to picking an attorney, pick a good one?
Well, first, make sure that your attorney is a licensed attorney. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but most people don't understand that as an attorney, I will tell you my first and last name, tell you the states where I'm licensed to practice. A lot of times, immigrants go to notaries or notarios, individuals who in the United States can only certify that you've signed a document, but these people entrust them with their cases. So, and they're not given a full name. So make sure that the person you see actually gives you their full name, tells you where they're licensed. Google them, speak to other people who've used their services. Reach out to the Board of Immigration Appeals. There's a list of attorneys that have been disciplined for misconduct. And you just have to be very aware, ask the attorney questions. Another thing is it's good to go to a practitioner who focuses primarily on immigration. Immigration is a code. It's not common law. It's not common sense. You have to go to an attorney who knows where to look and how to apply the law to your case.
Why do you practice immigration law? What do you love about it?
Well, I always say with immigration law, the highs are high and the lows are very low. But I think I practice it because I enjoy unifying families. And the United States is really an amazing country, and there are things that you can do here that you cannot do anywhere else. So to give someone the opportunity to thrive in the United States is priceless to me. So for as low as it can get with the deportations and the separation of families, there is something to be said that you're giving someone a lifeline to stay in the United States.
So you hear a lot about families being split apart. For instance, the child is born in the United States, but the father came in illegally, the mother's an American, and the father being separated from his child. How often does that happen, and are there ways to stop that?
It happens quite frequently. There are ways to stop it, but a lot of it has to do with the immigrants' good moral character and their physical presence here in the United States. There are defensive applications which could stop that deportation. There are ways to apply for waivers and so that the family could remain unified. But it's a complex situation and it's a case-by-case analysis, so it's something that you'd have to speak with an attorney about.
What about, say, for instance, you have an undocumented person who commits a crime? Is that automatic deportation?
Well, it depends on the crime. In New York and New Jersey, most serious crimes law enforcement will alert immigration if an undocumented person has been convicted of a crime, and that starts the deportation procedures. And once placed in removal proceedings, the immigrant will have an opportunity to defend their right to remain in the United States. And depending on the crime, the individual, their equities here in the United States, it could be an uphill battle, or it could be a case without a solution.